What's up, magic makers? Drew here, and today I want to do a follow-up working for my little puppy Paco. I did the honey jar not that long ago, and if you watched that, then I've already laid out all the behaviors that we're talking about here. I will link that video below in case you missed it and you want to check it out, but essentially my dog behaves, well, he kind of acts like a dick. But the thing is, I know he doesn't want to do that. It's just, he's kind of neurotic. I don't know, he can't help himself. So I wanted to do the honey jar to sweeten him up a bit. And I knew when I did that I was going to do other workings. I just didn't have any idea of where I was going to go with that just yet. Actually, one of my viewers helped me narrow that down and figure out what was coming next. A subscriber commented under the video that the whole time I was talking about my dog and his behavior, all they could think about was their child who has autism. And my first thought was, wait a minute, is that even possible? So I went ahead and I checked it out, and it is indeed possible for dogs to have autism. My son and I sat, my youngest, and we were looking at different articles and write-ups, and we just kept looking at each other like, this dog is autistic. He had so many of the markers. Now, I will say this, if he is genuinely autistic, he is at the mild end of the spectrum, but there were so many things about his behavior that correlated. So he may or may not be, I don't know, but it did give me a place to go with my magic. Part of his problem is being overstimulated and caring way too much about what's going on in the environment around him. He gets very upset by subtle little things, much less big things, going on in the environment around him. And it makes him nasty and he lashes out. So this is going to be my little Paco piece, Poppet, to try to bring some peace and some calm to him. I do feel like, and my husband even said, that he felt like the honey jar was successful. He does seem to be trying to be more sweet and loving and open to that, but he's still having these really extreme reactions to things that happen in the environment around him. So this is what we're doing now. I am not a proficient sewer, so I decided that I would look at my local Dollar Tree for a small stuffed toy. And I wasn't satisfied with anything I saw, and we went over to the pet section and they have these little mice for cats, and somehow it's perfect. It's the right color. He's a small dog. Of course this is a mouse, but it works. It's going to serve my purposes. This is effectively going to be Paco. So I am going to cut his little belly open, take out all of his stuffing, and then we'll get into the more magical aspect of this. There he is. I'm going to pop his little innards out. He has a little rattle in there. I think I'll save that and do something with it later. I will say this, even though it was a Dollar Tree toy, they didn't chintz on the stuffing. There's quite a bit that was inside of him. I want to cut off his little tag though. I'm not happy with it. So you can see my herbs laid out here. I have picked some lavender, pretty obvious choice. Lavender is great for meditation and sleep, which makes it, really peaceful and calming. And also I want it in there for longevity, can add some longevity to this Poppet. Then there's chamomile, again, pretty obvious. Again, great with meditation and sleep, making it very peaceful and calming. Right here, I actually have some of his hair and his toenails. I will not be putting a petition in here. I don't feel the need to, but I did want a little bit of his DNA just to link him to the Poppet. I am going to be adding in a little lodestone for drawing and grounding properties. So right here, I've got some lemon balm, and I want to add that for success and luck. A little luck and a little success for my Poppet would be good. Here's some patchouli, and I'm adding that. Patchouli is very closely linked with like earth magic, so it's very grounding. I think that grounding is important when it comes to being peaceful and, secure and what have you. And then we have hibiscus for harmony and relaxation. And, you know, I'm hoping that all of this adds a sense of security and safety and stability for him as well, especially the patchouli and the lodestone being very grounding and earthy. These are the ingredients I have chosen to fill my poppet with. So I'm going to take a moment and do that, get myself in the right headspace and be putting my intent and my energy into what is happening here. I just started layering it in, but I feel like I want it to be a bit more of a cohesive mixture. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix some up. I don't mind that the base I started with is lavender and chamomile, and I might finish it off that way with just lavender and chamomile as well. And I know that I want the lodestone and the nails and hair to be in the center of the poppet. That's just what I want to do. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start sort of mixing all this together. So I've done some of the stuffing with my little spoon here, and some of it I've just gotten in there with my hands, just shove stuff in. But I've got a good little amount in there, and I want to start working it into his little extremities, because I would like him to be full. I would like to get as much material in him as I can. So I'm stuffing his little feet and working what I've got up into his little head. It smells really good. So I've got him pretty stuffed. He's almost full, not quite, but so I'm ready to add in Paco's pieces, his toenails and hair, and then the lodestone before I finish stuffing him with the herb material. Okay, there we go. His little hairs fought me a bit, which is amazing because they get into everything everywhere all the time. But of course, the one time I want them to. And grab me a little lodestone and stick it in. And now I'm gonna finish filling him. When I first started stuffing him, I was concerned that I might need to get more stuffing out, but I didn't need any extra. I did, however, use every last drop of what I had out. So now I am going to start sewing him up. I have not enchanted him, for lack of a better term. I will do that just before I finish sewing him up, and I will tell you what I'm doing when I do so that we're all on the same page. But real quick, I'm just going to start sewing him up. I am using a blue thread just to add another layer. Color magic into what it is I'm doing, as I see blue for many things, but no doubt peace, tranquility, calming, that kind of thing. There are other colors I could go for, but I just chose to go with this blue. It will serve my purpose, no doubt. I am not trying to make this look very pretty. I don't care. It's just about getting the job done. Oops. This little tail got caught. While I still have this little hole here, I am going to name him. I am going to tell him what his job is, state the intention aloud to him, program him, if you will, and I'm going to breathe life into him, and then I'm going to finish sewing him closed. When I say I'm going to name him, if it were a working that I were doing all on my own and not sharing, I might just name him Paco because of the ease of that. It's just easy. But since I am sharing this, I will not be naming him that because names have power in my magic. I think in magic in general, but I take that kind of thing pretty seriously these days. So I will not be sharing. He will be getting a different name, a sacred special name just for him. I will name him, give him his job, breathe life into him, finish sewing him up, and then I will charge him on my working altar. I knotted him with a number that is sacred in my practice and in my magic. I am going to take a few further little steps that again are just sort of specific to my practice. But then I will put him on my working altar to charge, and then eventually he'll probably live with the honey jar, tucked away in a safe space where he can do his job. All right, guys, I will keep you posted on what happens with the Poppet and my dog and the whole situation. I do feel like there's probably at least one more working that needs to happen with regards to Paco, but I don't know what that is yet. It'll come to me when the time is right, I suppose, and I will probably share it. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, much love and gratitude.